What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Persona 5 the animation, and this episode was actually really damn good. This episode we were predominantly focusing on the confidants. We'll talk about some new so that's part of the story, but mostly we were focusing on the confidences, which I like. Now, like I said, I'm hoping the show did get extended because we got the show's originally scheduled for 24 episodes, and we're on episode 23 now, starting next week. So, I mean, it seems like that it seems we are getting an extension. Like A1 Pro was like, yeah, there's no way in hell we can get this all done in 24 episodes. So yeah, listen, if I had to assume, it'll probably P5 the animation. Judging from the fact, okay, what the story that we have left, which is about 2 to 3 palaces. With that, probably the time they'll set over for confidences. This show will end in either the 30s or 40s. If I had to just give a random guess, I would say probably like the 30s, 40s is when the show will probably end. I don't think it might go to the 50s. It might. And hey, I mean, I don't mind if they do. If that's when they're just like, okay, confidant. I got no complaints because, like I said, P5 got some really good content, especially with Futaba. Well, I hope to God they do cover it because, goddamn, her comment was amazing. But anyway. So let's get to the episode itself. By the way, the 3 confidants that were in question for this week they showed up was Mishima, Hifumi, surprisingly. I didn't think we were actually going to get hers, as well as a little bit of Ann's, which I liked. I liked that they did touch on Ann's and more or less just adapted the best part of Ann's confidant, which was the selfless Shiho. Like I said, I'll talk more about that when we get to that. So let's begin. So we start off with Akechi in a transit because fuck it, we haven't shoved Akechi down your throat enough during this fucking season. Like I said, guys, I mean, I do like Akechi. Don't get me wrong, I like Akechi. When we saw his character and all the stuff that went down with him when I was watching Nico Beat's Let's Play P5, I really dug him. But like I said before, I'm sick and tired of A1 constantly shoving him down our throats, being like, yeah, Akechi. Granted, it's just like him on the train, he's looking up at the sign and talks about that Okumura has suffered from cardiac arrest. So it's quick and painless, but at the same time, like. You don't need to shove him in every episode, A1. Like, oh my god, I wonder what they're gonna do when he actually becomes really relevant to the actual story. In probably like a couple episodes. So that should be interesting. Anyway, so then we get back to the main crew. They're in their little hideout area. They find out about that of course Okumura is suffering from cardiac arrest. They ask is her father gonna be okay? And Makoto is the bearer of bad news, where she explains that yeah, if that happens, that's a good sign that the fuck is dead. So yeah, Okumura is gonna be 6 feet under in a little bit. So they're like, oh no, Haru, and so when we get to Haru, she's like, of course, at the hospital. Pretty much just looking at her father, who's like in the hospital bed. He has like that, like a mask over him that has has oxygen through it. And so then we get to the OP, which actually for the OP, they of course now updated by putting Haru in it. I think this is probably like the final OP. I don't think they're probably gonna make any more edits to it where they're gonna add like another character. They might. But then again, that character in question has already been added to the OP. Or is already in the OP already. So I don't think they're going to like re-edit it and add more scenes of this character, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, I really did, like I said, I love the OP. I dig the shots of horror they put in there, so yeah. So then we go to Haru's place. Sai's interviewing her. She asks me if she knew anything, and then before that actually we see Akira. He's walking up the stairs to school. He sees this guy just randomly just starts sprinting down the stairs and goes right past Akira. We then find out when we get over to Haru's place that there was actually a calling card found at the principal's desk, which we know was obviously planted by the kid we just saw sprinting earlier. And so we head over to to Akira's place. They're talking about how the Phantom Thieves, ever since what happened with Okumura, everybody essentially wants their head. And they talk about pretty much how they were all like, yeah, Phantom Thieves for life, baby. And now they're like, fuck the Phantom Thieves, they're assholes, fuck them, I hate them, they deserve the death penalty and shit. That whole, mob mentality, one hate thing we see commonly. Especially nowadays, like, this scene has had so much more relevance recently with all the stuff that's been going on with, celebrities, with people coming out like, oh, this person sexually assaulted me, like just like Kevin Spacey. Everybody loves Kevin Spacey, House of Cards, Baby Driver. And now everybody hates Kevin Spacey, and his latest movie only made on opening weekend $126. Not 126 million, not 126,000, just $126. I am dead serious. Yeah, and of course, the stuff with James Gunn we have seen with Guardians 3. Some old tweets from like 10 years ago, brought Disney's attention, even though we already apologized for all that shit. Bam! James Gunn is fired, even though Disney was originally going to have him, pretty much be like the guy leading alongside Kevin Feige to run the MCU after Phase 3. He was going to help them lead the MCU down into the cosmos with Phase 4, and also, but now we know that shit's up in flames since he's been fired. Hopefully Disney gets their head out of their ass and retires him, but I doubt they're going to do it at this point. And Guardians 3 is about to start shooting soon, yeah, there's that as well. And of course, the stuff, and even Crunchyroll now. Everybody's been hating on Crunchyroll recently. Just because they announced like one show that's like reeks of SJW, feminist agenda, and Digibro makes a video just bitching them all like, oh, Crunchyroll fucking sucks, just because he wasn't invited to the Crunchyroll Expo because he's a little bitch like that. Ugh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, we've seen this happen a lot recently, guys, and yeah, ugh. And when Haru tells him about, the police about, the finding the calendar card, the Muriel says, it was a fake, it was planted there, yada yada yada. They're pretty much just trying to. We all know the fans are being framed right now. And so then we head over to Futaba's place after we get a quick little montage to see what the families are doing. We know we got Makoto. She's eating dinner by herself because we actually see beforehand. We see Makoto. She's like washing the dishes. Sally comes in and she asks like hey sis, you want some dinner? She's like, nah, I'm just here to get a change of clothes. She's like, oh, you can stay the night to work? Yeah. She asks about we also. Before that, I'm getting my stuff mixed up. Before that, we actually see the chief of police the chief of police calls up Sai. She tells we're going to be in charge of the family case just because of everything you've been going on. She of course is like, why would you pick me? Someone who's inexperienced me, yada 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 yada. He talks about how she was the one that was always kind of there for these mental shutdown cases, so that's why she's picking her, and also it's all part of their evil scheme. There's that, and this isn't really a spoiler. I mean, it's kind of obvious that this is obviously the work of some puppet master. We've seen this countless times throughout the episode. This episode, previous episode, that there's some deeper shit going down. There's an obvious puppet master at work here. So we hear. So like I said, back to Sai's place. More. She that she has a part of business right now. Makoto's like, that Sai, you look awful, but what if you could collapse from, exhaustion? Because in case you guys didn't know, Japan has has a huge death rate. Like, a lot of people die from overwork. They even have a word for it called karoshi. Die from overwork. Like, that's some people in Japan work like machines. They rarely get any rest. They're always working. Man, Japan, different culture and all that stuff. Anyway, yeah. So she then goes into her urie, from Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul-ri, and she's like, "It's the only way I would get a promotion." And so about my man Urie, he's all about that promotion. Promotion. Yeah, she wants that promotion. She says don't worry, Makoto, I'm all good, you don't need to worry about me. And she also tells her that that shit's gonna go down at school tomorrow, which we find out that actually after Kawakami announces that the police are here and that she's going to come here and interview everyone because the whole stuff with the Phantom Thieves. Of course, we get to my man Akira. That's like, oh yeah, you're the guy with the promotion. You hang out with the interesting group, with Yusuke, Haru, all that shit. And he's like, yeah, he answers the question. And right before he leaves, he says you're good. He says oh wait, one last question. Do you think the Phantom Thieves are here at the school? And he says maybe. And he leaves. And when the Kawakami originally announced that you guys are going to be getting interrogated, we see Mishima. He's kind of shaky. And then when we get to Futaba's place, where she goes on about this about Hack before that, They talk about, the interrogations, and Ryuji, and, everyone's wondering, like, Ryuji, did you break? And he says, like, nah, but, man, I would have blown it if they saw how sweaty my hands are, which I'm glad they get that from the game. I was wondering if they weren't, but I like that they kept that in there, that little line of Ryuji that, yeah, that man would have probably cracked. If, like, just seeing his hands, that man would probably have cracked if they, like, went really deep on the questioning on Ryuji. That man probably would have cracked. Anyway, so when we get to Futaba, she talks about how that they found out that there's this that the code that was related to what happened to Medjed wasn't from a Medjed member. It was from some fake. And as she says, code is like fingerprints. You can try to disguise it, but there's always those little quirks, quirks and things that would always distinguish it from the others. As we see. She talked about how that this wasn't a real Medjed member, and that she found this same fingerprint, as she calls it, on the fan site. And so they're wondering, like, what's going on. The question, like, could this just been like, some guy trying to get on the Phantom Thieves hype train? Could this just been some, the work of some bit from, some other people trying to frame the Phantom Thieves, and like, as my man Ka said, they played us like a death fiddle. Give it back, from Phantom Pain or Ground. No, that was Ground Zero, but yeah. Yeah, they've been pretty much just been played. They've fallen right into their trap. And as they explain, they talk about that when that same code or whatever you want to call it showed up on the fence, it was around the time when they decided to go on Okumura, so that the voting was actually rigged by this person or people. That that to get them to pick Okumura, and of course fall right into a trap, which is why they're in the shitstorm that the Phantom Thieves are in now. So we get to Ann. She's like doing this photo shoot, and she over here feels like, man, the Phantom Thieves, they're in some hot water right now. And she's like, then your phone starts ringing, and she gets a call from Shio. She's like, hey, what's up, Shio? Which I was like, when I saw this episode, I was like, ooh, Shio's in this, alright. Because I was like, wait, are they going to show us Shio's part of the confidant, or are they just going to, breeze over that? They thankfully have not did, and they did show it off, which I'm glad. And I'm just surprised how everyone tackled it on kind of like they just like pretty much just like okay, we'll do this a little bit piece of it at the beginning, like a few episodes back with some Morgana, but then they just pretty just cut out the rest, because really the rest of Aunt's Confidant was really just her doing modeling stuff and like this kind of rivalry she had with this other girl. It was honestly kind of pointless, and I wasn't particularly a fan, but the stuff with Shield around the end was amazing, in my personal opinion, anyway. And so after that, we get over to the arcade. Akira, he's just kind of waiting around, pulls out this little light gun game, points at the gun screen, and we got the kid wearing the Get Smoked hat, a popular meme in the P5 community. I honestly forgot this kid's name because it's been so long since I've seen P5, and I'm like, oh hey, I'm glad that we do get to see the kid, because I didn't know they were going to put him in there. But I'm curious if they're going to. I wonder if they're actually going to tackle his Confidant. If you feel me, got like 3 or 4 cameo appearances, and now we're finally get caught up, I'm assuming that he'll probably get the same treatment where we see his Confidant later on in the show. Maybe not. I personally don't really care, because his Confidant wasn't really all that. I don't even remember half of it. I think there's some stuff about his mom in there or something, but yeah, there wasn't really that much in there. At least that I found interesting or memorable in any case. So he hands over, then the kid's a complete fucking match in this game. He's out here just be like bam, 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 bam. The kids are like a legend. He's like, everyone's like crowding around this, like they're crowding around the arcade to see him play, and it's classic stuff. So then Mishima comes out. He's like, oh, hey man, you waited long? They go outside. Where talks about about of course that about the Phantom Thieves. The cops are on them, but he says the cops ain't got shit on us, man. We're good. And then he comes over there with a new target for the Phantom Thieves to take out some up and coming actor. He's like, yeah, I'm sure he's up to some shady shit. He has to, I'm sure. And Mishima starts getting very paranoid. You see he has these shadows, he got these bags around his eyes. He got the man looks like he hasn't slept in a couple days. He's like, oh yeah, the family know I am changing the world's views. I won't let it end. And then we got the Get Smoked kid. He's like, yeah man, I agree. The Phantom Thieves shouldn't end like this. And he sends over the day, and Akira's like, yo, Mishima, you alright, man? You don't look so good. You're kind of talking kind of crazy a little bit, man. And, he's like, I sent you the data. make sure you share it with the others. And now, and then we get over to Hifumi, but let me talk about this one thing real quick. Like I said, they do talk about Mishima's Kamina, but they really chopped out pretty much all of it, minus I'm pretty sure the beginning part, which you saw here, and the ending, which we see later on. Because I'll talk more about that when we get to that part of the episode. But I'm actually kind of about a lot of what Mishima said when they get to. No, I'll just like leave it there until we get to that part of the episode. So then we get over to Hifumi, where we see her mom. She's talking about we make sure she gets more exposure and everything, yada 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 yada. And so, she's with the other guys, and you're like, oh man, more money, I'll let exposure. And she's like, I'm sorry. And then we get to this little poster from what I'm assuming is a shogi mobile game, because there's a poster with her with like a shogi piece, and the posters are all in Japanese, and Crunchyroll didn't go translate it or anything, so I have no idea what the poster is, but I'm assuming it's for like a shogi mobile app, because it got like this little part here, you got like download on iOS or Android. I can tell because it looks very similar to how it is. I mean, it is in Japanese, it is in kanji, but you've seen so many like posters and stuff for mobile games, just like that is available on Android and iOS, so you can usually tell. So I'm assuming this is what that is. It's just like some shogi mobile game that she's endorsing or something along those lines. And so the other guys take their leave. She knows the kid. She's like, oh hey, you're the guy from the beach. Sorry, thank you for saving me. But there's no problem. They head over to this church where we saw a few episodes back, and she's like, have you been to this church? And he's like, yeah, I play shogi with the priest here. It helps me calm down, clear my head and focus, all that stuff and all that good stuff. And so then they play a game of shogi. And so she talked about her mom and how she's that her mom was always be happy for her when she did win shogi, which made her happy. So she would always of course do her best. But lately she's been getting a little too earnest, and I guess you could say almost kind of like a little greedy, almost turned into like those moms of kids that do beauty pageants where they invest all their money there, and they pretty much just living vicariously through her. That's pretty much what Hifumi's mom is doing, pretty much, from what I can remember of her confidant. I don't know if they're going to tackle more of it later on the series, or this is all we're getting. Me personally, it's not a huge loss, because her confidant was pretty good, in all honesty, but then I'm not touching the rest of it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So, she goes on, she also talks about, and I love to see about it. The voice acting was great, the music was spot on. I love, just overall, the cinematography was great, but that music, ooh, that background music for the scene, ooh, that background music was amazing. I love the background music they chose for the scene. And so Hifumi then acts like it's a fucking food wars while they're playing shogi. She grabs the peaches like, now, we can track it. The background's blue and everything. It looks like food wars, but someone's getting his food prepared, all that good stuff. It was funny. She's like, oh sorry, I got worked up, and I think it's food wars. And she also talks about how Akira, he's a good person, how he comes up with this very I guess he has this charm to him where she almost kind of makes her want her to tell him everything, I guess. Yeah. And so we see Akira in the train. We then head over back to school. We see Akira. He's kind of chilling on his desk. On comes up and behind him, be like, hey Akira, you free a little after class? And we get over to the area with the vending machines, and we find that On has brought Chio. Yeah, she's back, and she's and for some reason, On is she's kind of she was kind of leaning on I think maybe because she just probably isn't still 100% after everything that's happened, so she probably still needs her a little bit extra support, because I'm guessing she's still not 100% yet. I'm assuming, but then again we see later on she's walking just fine. So I don't know why Ann had her leaning against her. Maybe she wasn't, it just kind of looked that way. I don't know, whatever the case may be. She's like, Shiho, how have you been? She's like, long time no see, Akira. And she wanted to head over back to the roof to, sort out her feelings. So we go over the roof. Of course, now the roof's now caged up so that you can't get to the ledge for obvious reasons after what happened with Shiho. And she goes into detail. Gotta say, ooh, the voice acting. Oh my god, the voice acting here and that music. Say what you will, it's P5M, but goddamn, that voice acting, that music is ooh. The art animation was overall really damn good. So granted, there wasn't any action, but overall the art animation was probably the best we have seen in the P5 anime. And granted, there was no action, but hey, I won't get. But yeah, the art animation was overall really good. And she talked about how she was like when she was in the moment, when it happened, when she had to kill her, when she jumped out, she had like this voice in her head telling her like, just do it, jump, end this shit already. I'm like, just end it, escape, just end it already. And she talked about how that was her weak self, and she wanted to come back up here to the roof to see if she would rear her ugly head once again. And I was like, but you're good now, right? She's like, yeah, the bitch is gone. I'm like, as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So she's now, stronger. The voice is out of her head, and she, of course, is, recovered. She also talks about how I don't know if I mentioned this before from my previous review, but I'm pretty sure I don't know if this was said already, but we find out that yes, Shiho is going to be moving schools for obvious reasons. I mean, after what happened, all this stuff, I'm sure this is probably not good for her mental health. So, of course, they're taking the initiative to just move her to another school. Which, I mean, when I first saw this game, I was kind of disappointed because I actually did like Shiho, and I was like, oh, we would see more of her in the game, but, it makes sense, honestly, why she did have to move schools because of what happened. So, I'm not hating, but I won't lie. I kind of wish she was like a mainstay in the game, and she did say as like a little supporting character, that you could have hanged out with. You see as like, stuff with awe and all stuff. But hey, what can you do? She'll talk about like that she's always gonna follow on a modeling career. She's like, yeah, I'll make sure you're not ashamed of me and all that stuff. It was just an awesome moment, in all honesty. We also found out that Haru was actually listening in behind the door. Yeah, I don't know why that was there because that wasn't the game, in all honesty. So yeah, I mean, she kind of just like listens in and she kind of just smiles and walks away, but I don't know why they had to put that in there to begin with. Anyway, so then when they're like kind of just like walking down the street, they check their phone and they got a message from the top that they say like, yo, you need to check this out. So if they go to the fan side where they find out that Mishima has gone off the deep end. He's lost it. Yeah. He says, I don't know, to all people, I will purge you if you hate on the Phantom Thieves. And they're like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, Futaba explains, and she's like, hasn't gotten to public attention. She's like, nah, I managed to blog it before, before shit hit the fan. So they're like, nice save, all that good shit. So then Kira makes the decision, like, we're gonna head over back to Mementos to, of course, take care of, Mishima's shadow. They're like, are we gonna change his heart? But we're like, no, maybe not go that far, but we definitely gonna go talk to him. So they go over to Mishima's. They find Mishima's shadow, and of course, this is like pretty much just like the only part of Mishima's confidant we do see. They kind of like just show us the beginning and the end. They kind of just chop out all the middle part, which really the middle you don't really need. But I feel like it kind of might. I feel like with how they portrayed. Now, granted, for me, for me, a game player, I know all the content, so it didn't feel as jarring, because I could imagine a lot of anime-onlys were watching this episode, and they were like kind of very confused on what went down with Mishima. They're like, why is he suddenly lost it, like, what's going on? Because, and honestly, it does come up pretty jarring when you kind of like, just rip out all the context behind why Mishima. Now, granted, like, he does kind of explain it in this scene where, he talks when they're talking, but I feel like you could have put the Mishima's confidant back in there, at least a couple parts of it, to give it, I guess, to give it more content and like give it a better flow to where it doesn't feel so jarring, kind of like out of left field. As it honestly did come off, probably for a lot of ML at least I'm assuming. Anyway, so Mishima's going on about like, he doesn't want to be a zero anymore, and he just wants to be known. He wants to be a somebody. So, okay, allow me to give you anime onlys, for any anime onlys watching this video, to give you guys a little like refresher on what happened in the game. Now, granted, my memory isn't the greatest, so apologize there. So, but then again, you could always you can go look up online, on YouTube, like Mishima's confidant if you want to get the full story. But essentially, Mishima was a victim of bullying. Yeah, I know. Shocker, I know. And the bully would always call him a zero, and that kind of course, being bullied, that did a lot to Mishima's self-confidence, where he does feel like a zero, and he's tired of feeling that he wants to be a somebody. And what happened with the Phantom Thieves has, of course, given him, like, I guess you could say, a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, where it's like, finally I can become a somebody. I'm no longer a zero. And we've seen he's kind of starting to abuse that power, kind of like, have it go to his head a lot with, like, the actor and, of course, the message he brought. So, they talk to him, and he's like, face yourself. We get back to Mishima, and he's like, yeah, man, I feel good. I feel like a massive weight has been lifted, like, like an evil spirit has, left my body. He's like, I didn't know why I did that, but I feel like like an evil spirit has, left me, and he's essentially good now, which is, bronze there. So Mishima's all good in order, and all that good stuff. And while Mishima are talking, he talks about, like, how, like, he's not going to shut down the fan side, he's going to keep working on it, and he's like, because he wants to keep helping people, because he knows how it feels to have zero self-confidence and raise your voice now, because, like I said, goes back to the whole thing with him being bullied, which was part of his confidant, which the game had, which this anime is completely cut out, which kind of makes, like, I mean, granted, a lot of people don't even like. I mean, granted, I feel like now, granted, even in the game, I was like kind of like whatever about it. I kind of understand where Machine was coming from, but here it's just kind of like shit. It kind of like I feel like they could at least add like at least one extra scene of him getting bullied to give people a better idea on why Mishima turned out like he did originally, like we saw earlier on the episode. That instead it's just this jarring change of events, and you're like, what the fuck? What did I miss? But yeah, and so then we get back to Kiri's playing Shuji. We're back with the Fumi, and that's where the episode ends. Yeah, and we get a little post-credit scene, of course, where we get back to the future, where Sai talks about, of course, that your final target pulls out the Concord, which was addressed to Sai to prove her innocence. So next week is when we start Sai's Palace, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, because, ooh, that one's going to be interesting to see. A lot of shit goes down there, and of course, later on, and there's some cool shit that happens later on in the game that I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching in the anime. I won't spoil anything for you anime onlys, but it's definitely going to be interesting, and y'all are going to love it. Trust me on that. So overall, you episode a 9 out of 10. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, link down rocks below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.